Hey guys, welcome to another Across All Worlds. We were talking about the church. We were talking, if you were with us last, about the fact that we are all the church. That church isn't about a Sunday morning. But you dropped the Celtic church. You said, ask me about the Celtic church. And so I will, Baxter.
This is a fascinating journey. The Celtic Christianity was born in Ephesus, in the underneath the cross-fertilization of the teaching of the Apostle Paul, Timothy, and the Apostle John. It was non-hierarchical, Trinitarian. There was no no laity, that kind of divide. And I was in Wales at the Gower Peninsula, and there a man named John, I can't remember his last name, my eternal discredit. But anyway, he said, I've got to show you something. So he drove me down there, and there was a stone circle in the ground, which was the ruins of the first Celtic church assembly. And he said, and then they had duplicated, built a new reproduction right next to it. And he said, in Ephesus, where these things came together, their teaching, their Trinitarian vision, was exported by sea out of the Mediterranean and around to Wales. From Wales, it goes to Scotland. Wales, it goes to Ireland. Ireland to Scotland, and Scotland down to convert the heathen English, the Roman Catholics.
Okay.
And this was in 180.
Okay.
Same time Irenaeus, who was Celtic, and Hilary later on, and Gregor Nazianzus. And I couldn't figure out, wait a minute, Hilary and Irenaeus are from France.
Right.
And when you think Gaul, but no, you go way on back before Christianity, and the Celtic people had settled all across, all the way to Turkey. Okay. So Galatia is the Celtic world. Anyway, the point is, they were very Trinitarian, and we sat inside the reproduced replica, and the pews, if you want to call them that, are built into the wall. It's a circle.
It was like an abbey?
It looked like a silo.
Okay.
What we would call a silo. And so everybody would sit in a circle, face to face.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could speak or confess or sing. There was no male-female divide. There was no up and down. It was all equality.
Wow.
And that was the Celtic mind. I mean, that was the beginning of it. And, of course, there was no sacred-secular dichotomy. So this Celtic Christianity, and you can go now and look online, but they've got prayers for everything. They got prayers for blessing the bathroom. No, because they see the Lord everywhere.
Right.
They see creation as a vast burning bush alive with the glory of the Blessed Trinity.
Wow.
So this was that particular movement, and then through as the church expanded through Rome, it was stamped by Roman thought, and so you had both traditions existing side by side within the British Isles. Anyway, they met to decide which way we were going to go. Are we going to go the Roman way, which is hierarchical and Trinitarian in name,
right?
Legalistic, external, or are we going to go the Celtic way, which sees the Lord everywhere,
right,
and very Trinitarian, and everyone is equal on equal standing. There's none of that, and there's no sacred secular dichotomy at all, and they decided at this council to go with the Roman way, which essentially pushed the Celtic heart and the Celtic mind to the periphery. And when he's telling this story and pointing this out, and we're sitting in there, and he sang a song. It's beautiful in the way in which the sound resonated.
Yeah.
But when he's telling that story, I mean, every hair on my body was just it was like getting whacked. I thought, oh my goodness, I now understand.
That's your heritage.
I am a Celtic son in the belly of the Latin beast. That's what this Trinitarian conversation is about.
Wow.
It's erupting within the Roman clutches, what they call the Latin beast.
Right.
Same way as the Reformation was, but this is fully Trinitarian, and it's rooted in the conversation that got melded together in Paul's teaching at Ephesus, and then Timothy was the pastor there, and then John was there late in his life for a long time.
Wow.
So you have love at the center, relationship coming from the Trinity, you have participation, and everyone's included, and everyone has a voice. And that's the dramatic contrast between the Latin Church and the Celtic Church.
My goodness.
And so a lot of what we're talking about really has its story, its background in Celtic Christianity. And I just found it astonishing. I knew about it, of course, but I had never really seen myself and what my life was about, my quest for clarity of the early church gospel. These are Celtic things.
It's something that when you find, without, not in the context of separation, but when you find your people, when you find your lineage, when you're able to go, oh, this is
home.
This is home. Home. That's the right word. I actually, in my book that is coming out real soon, Rethinking God with Tacos, I write about you in that first chapter, and I referenced the spirit within you. And when I met you, I actually used the language. It was like I found home. I actually was like, this man reminds me of home. And it didn't make sense because you were in a town that I had never thought of as home. I'd lived here, but it had never been home to me. But it's something when you find your people.
Well, after 50-something episodes, you ought to be able to say you found a little bit of home here now, even if
that's true.
Even if it is in the belly of the Latin beast.
That's right. That's right. And not just finding your home, but then finding your language, finding language that expresses the ache that you've been living in. That the ache of disconnect, of not feeling like I belong. I remember going to a conference. And this may not have been where we were going to go, but there's something about belonging in what you're sharing. And I was at a conference years ago. It was a very evangelical conference, but there was so-called, and it was right. Thank you. And there was a speaker there. I was there because of that one person who ended up not being invited back. But I was there to hear this fella. And as I walked down the halls, a song that I began to pick up on, and it would show up throughout my life. And it's a song that's basically, I don't belong here. Feels like I don't belong. And it was the first time I realized, man, that song goes off of me every time I'm in this type of place. And I don't even realize I'm singing it until halfway through the day I'm humming it. And all of a sudden I'm like, and it's only been in the last few years, and you're right. I come back to Jackson, and there is
Brandon.
And in Brandon, to clarify, we're not in Jackson right now, but I did fly into Jackson. Then we drove to Brandon.
We quickly got him out.
But Jackson can be your home in the theology that you're talking about.
Well, that's what you were saying in the last episode, that you can see Jesus in these things and in these the structures.
Yeah.
But the Celtic thing, people, that the way they approach life, they celebrate life, every aspect of it. There's no dichotomy. And I mean, fishing and everything is included in this. And
belonging is included in this, yeah.
And a care for the earth.
Yeah.
A genuine, deep appreciation and care for the earth.
Which is why we come alive when we see, I need to go to this place, is what I'm telling you. But I come alive when I see a beautiful, a space. These are those places that bring life to me.
Well, the Celtic mind calls those thin places.
But Erskine, oh my goodness, just lost his name. MacDonald, the Torrance brothers. This was that got pushed to the perimeter,
right.
But it was still resonating.
Yes.
And I believe we're in a season where it's becoming something you have to address. That the mainstream the belly of the beast, if you will. They're getting sick. Guys, we got a Rethinking God with Tacos conference, family reunion in September in my backyard, Charlotte, North Carolina, September 25th through 27th. And this man's going to be there. This is our second year.
Can't wait till you speak, though.
I can't wait.
I'll have my red pen in hand.
Damon Thompson will be with us. Our friends Dub Alexander and Brooke Waters. Mark and Julie Appleyard, worship with Michael and Bethany Wallace. We're going to have a good time. There'll be tacos. Last time we had tacos.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. some incredible fellowship, worship. It's going to be sweet. So if you can make it, go to afamilystory.org, afamilystory.org, and come join us.
It will be a large time.
A large time, yeah. Thanks.
Well, historically, especially in the modern period, you just have a great emphasis on the head and not the heart. And we've talked about that. Yeah. It's one of the Achilles heels of the Western tradition. But within that, I mean, in the Celtic Christian tradition or traditions, the head heart are together. Yeah. It's not one without the other, and it's not an overemphasis.
Yeah.
But when you look at history, you've got protests beginning early on within the Reformed tradition, Protestant Reformed tradition. And in the 1700s, you had the Merrimen, Thomas Boston and the Merrimen. They were saying what we're preaching is a conditional, contractual gospel, because we're not telling people that they've been included, they've been saved, or whatever. And the General Assembly basically said, you don't talk about this anymore. Yes, we are preaching a conditional gospel, but the Celtic gospel is not conditional at all. It's covenant. And so you have people within that. Right after the Mary controversy, Thomas Erskine was born. And right in the same period, you have John McLeod Campbell. And after, a generation after, is George MacDonald.
Yeah.
So you had A.J. Scott, Thomas Erskine, and who was not was not Calvinist. And you have John McLeod Campbell, who wrote this amazing book on the nature of the atonement. Of course, he was immediately thrown out of the church. He was defrocked because he talked about assurance being the essence of salvation.
Right.
And just think about that.
Right.
If assurance is not the essence of the Christian experience, then what is it?
Right.
There's no astonishment there, but the astonishment comes from hearing that the Father, Son, and Spirit dreamed of us before creation, and they've never let that go. So and then you've got people like P.T. Forsyth, who taught in Scotland, Scottish theologian, and then H.R. McIntosh, and the Torrance brothers, and on and on. That thread has been running, which is a recovery of the ancient Celtic tradition.
Wow.
It's amazing. I mean, I did not know that Hilary and Irenaeus and Gregory Nazianzen, all three of whom, especially Hilary and Gregory, I love their writing style. I mean, even though it's very intelligent, it's full of heart.
Right.
And that had an influence, especially Irenaeus, on Athanasius. So you get that passion. It's a deep, deep-seated passion, but it's not trapped within the structure of institutional religion.
Yeah.
Which is what we're all revolting. You talked about it. It's not in the structure. You can be in the structure. I get that, but it's a much bigger picture here.
Right.
Historically, what is going on is that these two traditions are colliding again.
In the West.
Yeah, in the West.
Yeah.
And I don't think very many people have ever even heard of Celtic Christianity. If they did, they thought it was just a Christian sect. It's only a few hundred people or maybe 1,000, something like this. It's a living tradition that goes all the way back to Ephesus and to Paul and John and Timothy.
Yeah.
And it's significant that it was exported by sea. So it didn't come through Rome and get Roman stamp.
Right.
It went right around all that on the other side of it. And then it was pushed out, and I thought, pushed out around the world. And that's who we are.
Right.
That's why you call yourself a relational theologian, because you don't like the trappings of a theologian.
No.
Well, that's the trappings of a theologian within the Western model.
I don't like the elevation of the mind over the heart.
Right.
And that's really...
And neither do I.
No. And it's not a dismissal of academic theology, an academic approach to theology at all. I'm grateful for that. But it is an intentional, it's doing two things. One is it's making room for me.
Not to be accountable.
That's one way of saying it. Or the way in which I was designed as far as my abilities. But secondly, and how I'm wired, but secondly, there's intentionality in it because I can see as much separation and religion in the academic world as you can find in the church world or wherever it is.
In the worship in the church world.
Yeah.
And there's a revolt there because it's not ministering to our souls. Some of the songs are so caught up in the Western model, But when you read Hillary, for example, he has a style that is, you see his heart in every sentence.
Yeah.
But it is so intelligent.
Yeah.
It's so steeped in thought.
Yeah.
But it never leaves his heart.
Yeah.
It never gets detached. And the same thing in Athanasius a little slightly earlier.
And there's no arrogance
No.
in it, because, I write about this in Leaving and Finding Jesus with intentionality. Again, the interactions I've had with a religious mindset, whether it's in academia or not, where I described having discovered the mountaintop, and I'm there and I'm in awe of this revelation, and then I meet a brother who meets me there, and we're both celebrating it, and then we both begin to reminisce about how we got there, and before long he's telling me I got to go back down because I didn't get there the right way. And he's taken his eyes off of the view and is now more focused on the fact that I took the wrong path. And for me, I felt that my whole life. So some of my intentionality around that is, hey man, I might not have gotten there the same way you got there, but we're both enjoying the revelation, which is the point.
And astonishment.
And the astonishment. And can we revel? Because there is a way that you've navigated that is profound, and it doesn't change how I navigated it as well. But it's the burning heart that matters. It's the awe.
That's the point, because and then you really treasure the burning heart, the astonishment, the awe, the marvel.
Yes.
And then you see what Paul's saying in Timothy. Oh, Timothy, guard the treasure.
Yes.
Guard the treasure. Don't be distracted by chatter, by words and definitions. Guard the treasure. He's talking about the astonished heart that's given to us in the revelation. And when you see others' face shining because they too have seen that revelation, then that fellowship is born. And I'm not minimizing Latin Christianity.
No.
I'm just saying there's this tradition that goes back to the apostles.
Yes.
That is so earthed and so non-hierarchical and so equal.
Yes.
And value other. Everyone is valued and everyone has a voice. So you could be 5 years old and stand up in that circle when they meet. And
Which is what I felt from you. That is, I've so celebrated with you and am astounded by. And when I referred to, I felt like home. I knew I was hanging out with a guy who's read all these books, and could open any one of them to point out what, and valued that, and yet I wasn't less than when I sat in the room with you, because theologically it's impossible because of what you're stewarding, which is, and then to hear you put language around it and history around it, I am profoundly grateful for the study that you've done. And I know so many are, and others that have come before and that are with us now, that have been faithfully mining and putting language around this faith.
This common experience.
This common experience. And what I love about it is there is no hierarchy in it. It is a circle, and you personify that, which I'm grateful for.
We accept even relational theologians. All that means to me when you say that is that you're a Celtic son.
Yes.
You value
That's cool.
experience, and the mind, and music, amazing worship, but all Christ-centered worship. Not me-centered and offering up to a distant deity, but me astonished that Jesus is here with us. And that astonishment you cannot hide, and it attracts brothers and sisters.
And I am suspicious towards those, to be honest. Not you, but I have a natural proclivity to be suspicious towards those I feel of elevated knowledge above anything else.
Intellectual knowledge.
Intellectual knowledge. In fact, I was talking with someone the other day, and I said, listen, knowledge, intellectual knowledge, or knowledge puffs up. That's the nature of knowledge. And so if that's the road you're on, you should probably be aware of that. And understand that the very pursuit requires a theology that is grounded in the consent of love, grounded in union, so that I can actually trust the things that you're mining are for the greater good of everyone.
They're not antithetical to
Yeah.
your union with Jesus. They're singing the song of that union
Yes.
in
Yes.
their own way,
Yes.
and they're not conceptually alienated
Yes.
from that.
Yeah.
You can be as intelligent and as academic and as researched as you want, but it has to be connected to Jesus' union with you. It has to be baptized, as it were, and proceed forth out of
Come on.
that. I call it astonishment.
Yes.
It's discovering Jesus inside of your brokenness, and then being able to talk about that in a historical and intelligent way, not just for the sake of the history,
No.
but in order to say that we're not alone. We're standing in a pretty big stream.
Because this is that, and it's the long arc that is to be a part of it, and all creation is a part of it. We're all, if we're awakened, we're all Celtic brothers and sisters. Am I?
Yeah,
am
that's
I
exactly right.
fair in saying that? And we're awakening because that is the gospel, and
there is a Latin captivity where what is happening there is a lot of the head stuff, a lot of the hierarchical stuff, and the people don't really have a voice.
yeah.
And
Well, and there's no mystery. Mystery isn't welcome there, right? Is that fair to say?
but they do the mystery all about the Eucharist within the Roman Catholic Church, and in the Anglican too. It's the centerpiece.
Okay.
The mystery of the Eucharist, or we would call it communion, or some of us would. That's
But I never felt the liberty to ask a question.
well, that's part of the point.
Right. Right.
That's why it doesn't have a family feel about it, because you listen to what I'm telling you.
Right.
This is the way this works.
That's right. Yeah.
You come to me and I can give you I can pardon you.
Yes.
You know, it's not, no. We're moving here as a community from astonishing pardon, common pardon, to pardon one another and live in that community. That's the other thing. It's very communal, very communal. I'm still trying to think of the place in Ireland, the island. It's very famous. I just can't think of it right now.
I can't help you.
Uh,
It is on my bucket list. Ireland. I've not been yet.
I haven't either.
No.
Never made. We were dirt poor when we were in Scotland, so we'd drive people around and show them all the great places in Scotland because they would buy the gas.
Hold on. Pause for a second. If you would like to invite Baxter and I to Ireland, we would love to come. Throw it out there. I've not been to Scotland either.
Well, you can do both at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
And stop over on the Isle of Ireland.
But they do. There's that longing because I am Scottish. That's one of those things where I'm like, I have to go back at some point and experience it. But what you're talking about, and we've had this conversation. I call it the burning, right? That we've talked about that too. That Emmaus Road burning. That whole story encapsulates the holistic approach that Jesus took to heart, soul, mind, strength. He was speaking to them. He was speaking to their intellect. He was opening the scriptures to them. He was present in his body. He was present in his person. They were physically walking as they were doing this, but it was the burning later recognized in the breaking of the bread in the house.
The burning, the desire, the awareness that something is deeply and profoundly wrong here.
Yeah.
That we're missing.
And there's something better.
Yeah, something better.
Yeah.
Than what we've experienced. And I don't want to minimize anybody within the Western, any person.
Yeah,
We're talking about systems.
Yeah, that's right.
We're not talking about people.
That's right.
Because we're all in the West.
That's right.
But I do see that, and I'm drawn to that, and I'm drawn to that Christ-centeredness and the closeness of Jesus in daily life, no matter what the job is. You could be cleaning toilets and have an awareness of the presence of Jesus, that you are His hand serving His people, and it's just concrete and earthed and full of celebration, because there's no sacred sector divide in that vision.
And I love that you said that, because it isn't about people, and it isn't. We are in the West. My heart is for the West. I went to Bible college, and when they asked us to find a a missionary group to be a part of, I picked the USA.
Your hometown, huh?
I did. We were the lesser then, to be quite honest, though, because there was a hierarchy in that school.
Well, you talked about the hierarchy earlier.
Yeah.
Out of Ephesians 4,
Yeah.
Ephesians 3, and I mean, I love the way that when I was standing in that room, that replica.
Yeah.
It's a circle.
Yeah.
You're not looking at the back of anybody's head at a single person up front who's dispensing. You're looking at a community sharing their lives.
Yes.
And even confessing sin or whatever they would do. And then there would be people that were noted teachers.
Yeah.
That would travel around and
Yeah.
then develop schools.
Yeah.
And so they built another one of these things, and that's the teaching area or whatever. And they believed in miracles.
Come on.
And so somebody would come in, you would come in and go there and stay 2 weeks, and people would gather to come in here.
Yeah.
But even there, it was an open
Yeah.
thing in the sense you could ask a question. I don't mean be rude and constantly interrupt a person, but it was beautiful. You could feel it,
Yeah.
even in a replicated circle.
I can feel it now. We got 30 seconds left. I think if you're watching, you can probably feel it. There's a deep, as you were talking, it's like a deep exhale of, oh yeah, that sounds right.
This ties. I'm always saying, you cannot hide relief.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the difference. Is you are relieved of something hanging over, some evaluation, some constant thing that you've got to perform to get to. That's gone.
Yeah.
And the relief of knowing that you're home in the Trinity.
Yeah.
That's at the heart of the Celtic tradition, and it draws a fellowship.
It draws us home. Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we out of time?
We are out of time. We'll see you next time.
Across all worlds, he came for us. We